On this episode of the Breakout Podcast, we talk about the future of Kris Letang's injury, the Leafs using the ECHL as a farm team, and the internet fooling my mom on April Fool's Day. And what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Breakout Podcast. With me, I have producer Lou.
How you doing?
And our good pal Greg, who's going to try and contain his language this time around.
Jackass.
Yeah, I might have taken it a bit far whenever we were playing Lefty or Righty, because I don't like being made fun of on this podcast. But we're going to bring it in with our first topic. And what about the future of Kris Letang? What is his career after this injury taken by Shane Doan?
Yet another concussion. That's his fifth concussion in the past 4 years.
Since 2011, yeah.
It's too many.
Not to mention he had a stroke.
And any career, you don't know what happened in junior, pee-wee, all that. This could be his 6th, 7th, maybe even 10th concussion. No.
Do you think it's career ending?
No, hopefully not.
But
he's pretty young.
You might see Kris Letang taking more time off than what he would.
But the thing, do you think he came back too early from the stroke? He didn't take that much time for having a stroke. He literally, I think he took a month off, maybe.
It was a little bit longer than that. They shut him down for the rest of the season after that.
Yeah, but I know he wants to come back and help this team, but his health is more important than that right now.
It is, and you have to think about it's something that happened, I think, with the Nashville Predators with, what's his name? Do you remember that kid's name? Beliveau. He was related to Joan Beliveau.
Well, other than that,
he was like 24 years old and he had to retire because he had way too many concussions.
Well, someone was just doing that in football.
Kid from our school. Are you talking about
Mike
Walkup?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about NFL.
They're real people.
People
that matter.
People know about.
Yeah, he made the NFL. He played 2 or 3 seasons, got another concussion. He decided to retire.
Which sometimes is smart thinking about your future. Especially with how much money Kris Letang has made up to this point. He could retire and probably live comfortably for the rest of his life.
But I don't think he ever would due to his love for the game.
He has a great passion for the game.
Yeah, and if you want to see the hit, you can look it up on our Twitter, but it was just a dirty hit. It was behind the play.
It was unnecessary.
There was nothing to do with it.
No.
It was unnecessary.
Okay. It wasn't dirty. It was unnecessary. Evgeny Malkin's ego, very funny Twitter account. Go give him a follow. They explained it the best. It wasn't a dirty hit. It happens every game all the time. But for a 29th place team, it's just a douche move.
He cross-checked him, too. It wasn't just... He just cross-checked him, and Letang's head hit off the boards in an awkward way.
Perfectly clean hit, though.
No, it was behind the play.
Why wouldn't he be
Why
fine
would
then?
you be able to cross-check someone behind the play?
He didn't get cross-checked. It was just right to the chest, 2 hands, pushed him.
It was the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, it was. That's why Shane Doan didn't get any discipline. He wasn't fined a cent. He played every minute afterwards. It was a clean play.
As Penguin fans, we obviously didn't like the hit.
Oh, yeah.
It was completely unnecessary, and that will make you not like a player in the future. I already didn't really have too much respect for Shane Doan just because, if we're talking about one of the worst captains in the league, skill-wise, he's on the list. Top 5 for sure.
Yeah. Behind, let's say, Willie Mitchell.
Yeah.
Bryce Salvador of the Devils.
Yes. And Brian Gionta.
Brian Gionta is not too good on the Sabres.
He used to be good.
He used to be good.
It's just his career's coming to an end.
Yeah. So is Willie Mitchell's for that matter.
Yeah, but Willie Mitchell is doing wonders with Aaron Ekblad.
That's true. So he's really formed him into a nice young defenseman.
What if... All right, so taking out that Kris Letang's career is still going to continue, what do you think... If this is a season-ending injury, what effect will this have to us if we make the playoffs?
Well, for one, we finally were able to get some cap space. We called up Taylor Cherney today, so we have a 6th defenseman, but that we don't have Kris Letang. I don't think we have a number 1 defenseman right now. Paul Martin's there. Is not a number 1.
But he's playing number 1 minutes right now. He played nearly 30 minutes in the past 2 games.
Yeah, and I saw somebody talking about can Ben Lovejoy step up and fill in where Kris Letang was at, and I think he can fill in maybe on the penalty kill. He'll be a solid defensive player, but when it comes to the offensive side of the game, nobody can replace Kris Letang on this team.
But Lovejoy has filled in very well, and I feel like he adapts to the game very closely. As in, we talked about in the last podcast, the St. Louis game where he let up the goal in overtime. That was just a redirect. If you watch the next overtime game, same play happens.
Same exact play. The announcers, they also commented on it.
Yes.
They replayed it, said, look how strong he is on his stick. He's not letting that happen again.
And he adapted to the situation. He learned from his mistake. And that's something that a star player does. Another thing that you were talking about earlier was about how the Leafs are bringing in their new ECHL. You can explain it, how it's going to happen.
They're going to try and treat this more like baseball, where you have separate lower ranked pro leagues. So it's not like when a player gets sent on the ECHL now, most of the time you think that player's a bum. They deserve to be in the ECHL because that's a league where players pretty much go to they're like, hey, get away from us. Yeah. So, but what they want to do is they want to form a system where they can sign more players, give them an opportunity to give them an AHL contract, so then they can actually try and earn their NHL contract. So whenever they'll send players onto the ECHL, not this season, most likely next season, they plan on implementing it, that they're going to be able to hopefully maybe bring up better players for their bottom six, maybe even see players like that they drafted like Connor Brown in the 6th round starting to look like he could possibly be a top 6 forward. They just want to give more guys opportunities to prove that they deserve to be in the NHL, which is smart because they can afford to do it because they have so much money.
It's a great development model, really, and I think most teams should do it.
I don't see why it hasn't been done before.
The one problem with it is, or one thing I could foresee happening is, like with the Wheeling Nailers, our ECHL team, it is shared with the Canadians. Do you think that'll ever be a problem?
I think what they're hoping for is that teams that can afford it will have their own ECHL team, so they can.
Well, that would grow the ECHL league.
It would, and it would also grow hockey in America. But it would hopefully teams can afford to use this model and have their own system. So something that I've noticed is it seems like a lot of teams that want to be successful are implementing the system that we're not going to have players in our AHL playing a different system than our NHL. We're going to have them playing the same exact system, so when they come up, they're just trying to continue to play their game that they already know how to play, but in the NHL. And so you've seen this work in Tampa. Ty Johnson, Andre Palat, they're like their little duo over there. and so is Nikita Kucherov's been proving he deserves to be here. And they play their game. They don't worry about, oh, what do I have to do here? Because they already know, because they've done it so many times in the AHL. It's
natural reaction.
That's what they've been doing in Detroit for years now. They play the exact same way. That's why Nyquist, Yurko, Tatar, DeKaiser, they all play great hockey.
Yeah, and you see that this is also, like, they're normally successful teams because in the past few years, the teams that have won the Calder Cup have been the teams that have been having their players come up to the NHL and succeed. The Red Wings, Lightning, and I think the Blues won recently, and they've been seeing players like Tarasenko who came up, and now he's a stud.
If you've ever played developmental sports at any level, you understand the aspect of competition between your teammates. They're still your teammates and you love them, but you understand the concept that you want to beat them and become that better player, and the chance to do so really drives you to be a better player.
Yeah.
If you have an ECHL team and now you can make the AHL, oh shit, now I made the AHL, now you can make the NHL. If you really try, that's what it's giving him, the aspect that effort will pay off.
Just one step at a time.
It's the American dream.
Oh.
The American dream of hockey.
Yeah, Kyle Dubas has really been making the Leafs such a better organization. It's not him in general, but they did get new management that has a better idea of how they want to win, which is something the Penguins really need because.
Well, hashtag Tank Nation.
Well, I mean, who have you seen that's came up from the AHL, forward wise, that's really proven that they deserve to be in the NHL?
Pouliot.
Well, Pouliot.
Forward wise. I don't know if I've seen a forward come up that can really play.
I would say
direction.
Brian Rust. He
did play well, but
is he still here?
Is he?
No.
Is he NHL material? He's fast. He's got hands. He can shoot, but
he's also a puck hog.
Exactly. He doesn't play the system the way it's meant to be played. The Penguins are a passing team,
which is one thing that maybe if we get a permanent coach, because we're not really sure if Johnson's going to stay. If we get a permanent coach, we got to adopt the new Toronto system, the Detroit system,
and really
the winning system.
The winning system. Well, except for the Leafs.
Yeah.
We did revamp our analytics over the summer, but it was also with the guy from the Hurricanes. So
well, yeah.
it was like,
well, I'm just saying we need to run our AHL team just like our NHL team, the same systems.
Yeah,
which
we have done. If you remembered last season, whenever we had a whole bunch of defensive injuries, much like this season, and we brought up young defensemen like Olli Määttä.
Yeah,
and they played the system very well. They already knew the basic system that the Penguins were running, and we already had drafted puck-moving defensemen, so they fit in very well. We were drafting well in that aspect.
Speaking, do you guys know when Olli Määttä is supposed to come back?
Not this season.
Not this season at all.
He's not coming back this season. So I would assume he'll be ready for the start of next season.
That's a big defenseman that I don't think anyone thinks of that we have him on our team.
Yeah.
Well, him and Letang were the only two defensemen not to skate today. And that's because they're very injured.
Well, yeah. I don't see Letang coming back before the third round if we make it that far.
And even then, should he?
I
don't think without Letang, do you think we can make it that far?
I don't think we get past the second round.
I don't think we get past the first, honestly.
I think we might be able to, because if we play the Islanders, they're a slumping team right now as well. I think we can get past the Islanders, but then after that, we're just not built for it right now.
And that is just defensive-wise, or do you think that altogether our team's just not playing well?
I think defensively, this system is oriented on defensemen moving up with the team in the offensive zone and activating. And with the players we have now, they're just we have Derek Pouliot, but he's just learning the NHL game right now.
He's getting up to speed.
It's a lot faster than the AHL game. And
offensively, I think Pouliot's there, but defensively,
on the power play, he fits in perfectly.
Great. He's great.
So it's not good when we only have 5 defensemen that he's one of them, really.
Yeah, and to the aspect of moving the puck up the ice, that's what our defensemen are. That's what we drafted to do.
Pretty good at that.
But you have to play well in your defensive zone first to get the puck. And we aren't a tight or checking team. We play in the neutral zone.
We're trying to.
We play in the neutral zone to get back into the offensive zone. We don't really want to be in our defensive zone at all.
No.
So when we tend to give up a lot of possession time because we just don't play a tight checking game. And we don't keep it in the outside.
Well, and if Fleury goes down, this team's over.
For sure.
Done for, because Greiss doesn't look like he could steal a show like he did in Arizona last year.
And Zakhoff, not really.
We haven't even played him all this season, so just to call him up and then to make him, most likely this would happen around the playoffs. We're 5-6 games away.
Greiss is a fine backup for what we have him for right now, but other than that, he can't really support the team. He can fill in for Fleury in games where we quite possibly can win.
Yeah, you put in Greiss when you're playing bottom 15 teams. You don't put them against the Blackhawks, against the Rangers.
Yeah, exactly. You have, no matter what, Fleury has to play those games. But speaking of that, why don't we... the first round of the playoffs, if we make the playoffs, do you think we'll play the Islanders, the Rangers, and if so, when we play the Islanders, what's going to happen?
If we play the Islanders, I think we have a good chance at winning. I think it's going to be a close series like it was last year. But if we get the Rangers in the first round or the Capitals,
you think it's over?
Yeah. The Capitals are in a position.
They are in a position. Yeah, they're 2 points behind us.
No, I'm saying our division.
Yeah, they're in our...
They're 2 points behind us.
So we have the 3 teams we would play are the Islanders, Rangers, and Capitals.
Yeah, they're holding the wild card spot right below us. They could actually take our spot if we don't win these next couple of games. I think there's 5 games left in the season.
7.
No, I'm pretty sure there's 5.
Well, for the Rangers, there's 7.
For the Rangers, okay. I think there's 5 for us.
For us, it's 5, yeah.
And we play the Blue Jackets and Philly, which are big games, but neither one of them are really in playoff spots to take.
No,
standing.
but just
they're
the
just there to
we got
screw
from
us.
the Island, or not the Flyers the other night was just pathetic. I don't understand why we can't beat the Flyers.
And the record, have you heard the record? I think it's 11-1-1. The record in Consol Energy.
Wow.
Against the Flyers. We just can't beat them. I have no idea why. I don't know if it's the energy aspect they bring. I think we always try and stoop
to their level. It's like we're trying to make this a big rivalry game.
We try to make it a goony game.
And it's like we don't
why do you do that?
We're not built for that.
And look at Philadelphia. 79 points this season. You're kidding me. How can we... we're in the wild card spot. We just pulled it up. We're in the wild card spot.
We have 95 points to their...
The Capitals are ahead of us.
Yeah, but they're a point ahead, and we're 1 game...
We're in the standings, and we most likely will make it into the playoffs, but we have to win these next couple games. We can't lose them all.
No. We haven't clinched, so we have to win some of them. I don't know.
I think we'll definitely make it in, but This team is just we broke down at the end of the year, and it just doesn't make sense.
And what do you think is the breakdown aspect that caused us to get this? Is it the injuries?
It's a coaching change, I think.
Do you think it's the coaching change?
Because we're trying to play a completely different system. Like 15 games before the playoffs, I don't see why you try and revamp everything.
I think that to the point of this season, it wasn't that we wanted to do a complete rebuild. We wanted to get to the game where we keep our core players, but we build around them. But we didn't build around them the right way that we were supposed to. We would need to get good wingers for Crosby and Malkin.
Which we got Perron.
Decent wingers, and Perron's been sketchy.
He's streaky. He's very streaky.
You need to get good, solid wingers to compete with these other teams. I mean, Crosby and Malkin are great. They're fantastic. But when we get a big injury like Letang or Mata, the team's done. Yeah. You don't have that core anymore to support the other players and make them better.
Well, speaking of that, the free agents we got over the summer, who do you think we'll actually be able to keep out of the ones we signed to those one-year deals? We got Ehrhoff. Winnick's going to be expiring after the season. I think Bennett's going to be an RFA.
Yes.
We'll have Downey and Como.
Sutter, is he?
Sutter, I think, is an RFA as well. But that's going to be a big summer.
These are all big guys that we need to try to keep some of them, but some of them we got to let go.
I think Winnick for the penalty kill, we have to keep him. He's been such a monster on the penalty kill.
I'd like to keep, out of most of them, I'd say we would have to keep, like, Winnick, Sutter, and Bennett.
We're going to have to keep players that will go cheap.
And Grice is also a free agent.
That's true, but
and we cannot have who's our other backup?
Zakhoff.
Yeah, we cannot have Zakhoff as a backup. He can play a game.
I don't see
maybe two, but
he was not bad 2 years ago when he played.
I don't see anything. I could see him.
We wanted a proven backup.
Yeah, I can see that, but I just maybe with his new experience in the AHL, he might really want to try to come back up and play well.
Well, when we brought him up the first time, he was the best goalie in the AHL.
Yeah, but
he's been solid this season.
He hasn't proven himself in the NHL.
Yes,
but we haven't given him the chance.
But we also have Matt Murray coming up, who went on that monster run.
He's playing great in the AHL.
Can I ask something else? Do you think the goalie aspect of just in general of hockey is a lot of just kind of luck?
It is luck.
I mean, you play the positioning well, you play the puck as well as you can, but sometimes you get on these streaks, and the goalies really aren't that good, but they get these crazy streaks.
Andrew Hammond.
Yeah.
The Hamburglar?
His stats in the AHL versus the NHL were just ridiculous.
So do you guys think that's going to end sometime soon for Hammond?
It did.
Well, I know
his streak ended, and he's only lost 2 games, 1 in overtime, 1 in regulation, so.
Well, he was injured.
Was he?
Yeah, his back.
Okay.
So he wasn't able to. He left early, and then he wasn't.
Back injury for a goalie for a goalie to get that. That's not what you want to hear.
No.
A back injury? Well, are you kidding me? That's
hockey in general. It's just you don't want to hear that.
Wrists.
Jason Spezza.
Well, no, back's probably where Nathan Horton. He might never play a game again.
I haven't even heard of his injury. I don't follow it.
It was ridiculous. That's how the Leafs got traded him for Clarkson straight up because they can't afford to play or pay his salary because the chance of him playing another NHL game is slim to none. Yeah. And they wanted a player who could play for them, and now Clarkson's up in the press box.
That was a great trade.
They fleeced him.
No, both teams really.
It worked out for him, but just Clarkson's probably
originally before Clarkson actually played a game in Columbus. It looked like a great trade. The Maple Leafs lose. They just put Horton on the long-term injured reserve. They have to pay him, but he's not against the cap.
Well, they have so much money, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Most valuable
team
in the NHL.
Yeah. Well, the other aspect that I was looking at is, I mean, we still have Como and Downey.
I think you keep if they both sign 1 year cheap, under $2 million per year, then yes, you sign them. But if they want any more than that, you just let them go.
But Como's been a huge aspect of the second line.
But he hasn't done anything as of late since he came back.
That's also without Malkin.
Yeah,
really.
It is.
And Malkin makes him a better player, but he plays excellent with Malkin. He knows the way he's going to play. He's going to let Malkin carry it and shoot it, unlike James Neal.
But you just got to think that I think Como was just hot. Because the man has some hands, but most players that make it to the NHL have some hands. And other than that, I think he's a bottom 6 forward at best who went on a hot streak, and then now everybody's giving him this credit as a player that can continue to be in the top 6, and that lets management be lazy enough that they're willing to let that player keep playing in the top 6 when they really should go out and get Malkin a better winger.
Well, what do you think what are the less attractive free agents that could come to the team now? What do you think is in the market that other teams really aren't looking at but would fit well in our system?
I can't even think of anyone off the top of my head, man. I don't even know who's going to be a free agent this summer.
There's a lot of good free agents coming
I just
up
think
here.
with the money that we have put into our top 5 players, pretty much, that it might be less attractive for big name players to come to Pittsburgh because they know it's going to be harder for them to earn their money here.
Hashtag Phoenix conspiracy?
What do you mean?
Arizona conspiracy?
What?
Oh, you talking about Toby Ryder?
Tobias Ryder?
Yeah,
Reader?
remember we were watching the game and we were like, well, there's a conspiracy right there.
We talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
From
the previous podcast. It's a conspiracy. Other players don't want to come here because the big name players on our team, they don't want to compete with them. They want to be the big name player.
I don't know if that's...
I would love to play with Sidney Crosby.
I think most players would.
I guess so.
Jerome McGinley said he wanted to play with Sidney Crosby. I mean,
other free...
didn't get to play each other, except for in the Olympics. And
goals happen. Other free agents, why don't you think we're going for college free agents coming out of college? Do you think there's other players in the college system that can really add to this team?
There's players such as the... what's that dude that just... Casey Bailey. He played for Penn State.
We saw him play.
Yeah, we saw him play. If he wanted to, I think they could have easily signed him because management had to have seen him play whenever he played in that Frozen Four tournament.
Obviously,
he played at the Console Energy Center.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, it was the Three Rivers Classic, not the Frozen Four.
Yeah, Three Rivers Classic.
So, I don't know why we're not going after him. We got that goalie a few years back. That was NCAA goalie of the year.
Eric Hartzell.
Yes.
When he played in the Frozen Four or Three Rivers Classic.
I think it was Three Rivers.
Probably Three Rivers.
There's a lot of good colleges.
I just don't see why we're not going after them.
Yeah.
Even just in our area. Like, I mean, not talking about countrywide, but just in this northeastern area, there's a lot of good colleges that have a lot of good players.
Pitt has a great D1 team. It's not Boston College, Boston University level, but they're really good.
I would say unknown players that could really develop into great hockey players.
Joe Randazzo, former Mustang.
Former R.J. Umberger.
R.J. Umberger.
Former Mustang.
Yeah.
Former Sam Lewis, soon to be NHL player.
Never know.
It could be.
Probably not.
He could play in college and could just make the NHL someday. You never know.
Probably not.
Never know.
That sounds more like an April Fool's Day prank to me, but so April Fool's just happened a few days ago, and my mom came in. She's not the brightest person in the world. Sometimes it seems. I think age is starting to get with her. She comes up and she goes, "Hey Keith, did you see what scientists have done recently?" What could you be possibly talking about, Mom? She goes, they spliced a cow and a house cat together. Yeah, they're calling it a kitty moo. And she showed me the picture. It was obviously Photoshopped.
We'll link it to it on our Twitter page.
We have to. Because it's just such a ridiculous thing. If you look at the picture right away and you realize this is Photoshop to the max.
You know those pictures, if you've ever been on Twitter long enough to find the Twitter accounts that have the different species that are mixed, and it's hilarious. It looks like one of those.
Well, even reading the article itself, it said that they're great with children. They purr when they're ready to get milked, which is just ridiculous.
Another feature in the Kitty Moo is laser guidance. for it can cut your grass, but you use a laser pointer and mark out the territory.
Yeah, so it'll only cut it in the sprite aspect. It won't cut your neighbor's grass, but it'll cut your grass.
Yeah, fuck your neighbors. I mean, right? Who cares?
Yeah. It's
such a ridiculous thing.
I even texted Lou the other day, and I was like, we should make an April Fool's joke on our Twitter page, but we never did.
Oh, what a shame.
That would have been hilarious. What was the joke that you were going to pull?
I was going to say, just to mess with some of the less observant followers, Sidney Crosby traded to the Erie Otters for Dylan Strome. just to see
who would think.
Yep.
But I mean, so also going back to Twitter, today I retweeted a GoPro picture of video of Tyler Seguin, and there's a bunch of these going around. What do you guys think about these cameras and what they're doing?
I love the angle they show.
It's crazy.
it takes the player skill to a next level. I think it just shows you how good they actually are with the puck.
Yeah, this partnership with GoPro and the NHL is great. They did it with the All-Star Game. Do you think they were trying to test things out, putting GoPros pretty much everywhere? Do you think that'll end up eventually being in actual games?
I think it should, especially to observe referees. I think the ref cam should be
A
on.
ref camera would be awesome.
Just to show,
They
like,
did that in the AHL a couple,
did they?
couple months
That
ago.
would be
Yeah.
awesome.
I think that's something that they should also maybe watch when there's questionable calls made in that game. They watch back and they watch what that ref saw, just to see if he's doing his job right.
I was gonna say, you know how they always say a ref never can see anything. He's blind. Well, you could see which direction he's looking. He doesn't see the play behind him, and you could definitely say it's the human aspect of the game. He can't call it if he doesn't see it.
Well, one also example of the human aspect, the Minnesota and New York Rangers game. And either of you see it?
I have not seen it, no.
It just happened last night. There was some awful icing calls. And I was watching NHL Live, and they were saying that it was Ryan Suter that was going to go try to get the icing because the Rangers dumped the puck. It was like with a couple minutes left, they were down by 1. And Rangers dump it down, obviously icing, twice. They
waved it off.
They waved it off because earlier in the game, Suter was like, "What the fuck, ref? You gotta call that."
He was fucking with him.
He was complaining with the ref, and then human aspect. They're like, "Yeah, I don't."
Similarly to remember Letang did that and he got a penalty because he was just bitching to the ref.
Yeah, I think ego is involved with the refs way too often than it should be. Just because, like, you know that Steve Downey is definitely a target for referees. That guy can't get away with anything.
No, he can't. And they do it in, like, if you play Little League or something hockey, you understand that the refs, I can understand that and that, but you're getting paid in the NHL to be an unbiased person, and
you just can't expect that, because even where we play deck hockey, it's like the ref's ego will get in the way. If he doesn't like you, he will target you, such as Greg is targeted very often.
And I get away with everything because they love me.
You should stop cracking jokes. I don't like it. I just get called for everything. It's not fair.
It's pretty fair because I get called for nothing. I hook the shit out of people. I intentionally tried to lay someone out last night. There's no hitting in deck hockey, and it was fun. Didn't get anything.
Well, speaking of, I was listening to, I think it was the last Penguin game. They were talking about, what do you guys think if you get a penalty and it's a delayed penalty and the team still scores, you still have to go to the box?
Still serve a penalty. I think it's a good idea.
It's going to create more scoring, which the NHL wants, and if you committed a penalty, why shouldn't you still get
It just creates
why
more
shouldn't
scoring.
it be punishment?
But do you think it's part of the aspect that the NHL has played this way for so long, they're just not willing to change the game? They've played this way since, the 20s?
They're very willing to change the game. They change games all the time. They added the shootout after the lockout. They changed overtime. They changed it all the time.
But does it take something like the lockout to create change like that?
Yeah, it does, obviously. That's the reason that the lockout lasted so long last season, was because they just couldn't agree on things, because they want to evolve the game, but some of the older minds in the game just aren't willing to change.
That was just money, really. That's the only reason there's lockouts.
During the lockout, also just saying, I did go see the ECHL team. That was pretty cool. The Wheeling Nailers.
Yeah.
It was a different aspect of the game. It was kind of like watching a higher level high school hockey.
Higher than high school hockey? Wow, that's impressive.
But it was
Maybe
cool.
ECHL level?
Could be.
Oh,
Could
yeah,
be
yeah.
ECHL.
It was cool though.
Was it like would you say it's a college level-ish?
It was about a college level.
Like a D2 maybe?
Yeah, but there were older guys that couldn't play as well.
Okay, so thicker, big high school level.
Yes.
Like strong.
Like a lot of hitting.
Men high schools.
Yes.
That's nice. I like that.
It was pretty cool. If we had an ECHL team around here, I would definitely go.
That'd be cool.
Do you guys think that that brings revenue to your community, to AHL teams? It's big to the community there, but it's not really big anywhere else. Kind of like the Erie Otters game we went to.
That's all they have going for them up there right now.
Yeah, but I mean,
well, they did have a bunch of other.
Well, they do, but right now that's all they have going for them is to go see an Otter game.
How important do you think it is to grow the lower leagues, to build the NHL? It's the support.
It's good for kids. It's good for kids in areas that don't have NHL teams, because it gives them a star to look up to. If you're a little kid right now and Pittsburgh's about 2 hours away and your parents aren't willing to drive you, then if you get to go see Connor McDavid and Dylan Strome play, it's pretty sick.
I mean, yeah, that's what I think too, and I think it really grows the sport. You get the whole AHL and ECHL aspect. It's the support of the NHL. It literally brings in a whole new audience, and I just feel, I don't know. I feel like it brings a whole new aspect to the game if you have that in your community.
I think it'd be great. I think that there should be a local hockey team almost everywhere. that has a market and has the interest for hockey. So normally that means colder areas. Just because,
not like in Arizona, which still has a good bit of.
No, well, that's what we were just our follower on Twitter, the Las Vegas podcast. They want a team in Vegas. Everyone wants a team in Vegas, they say. But
that's such a risky situation though, because you're giving a bunch of young kids that have a bunch of money.
We've talked about this before on our previous podcast.
Not on this one though.
Yeah.
And I just don't see that as. I think they deserve a team, but there's going to have to be rules in place if you're going to put a team there, just because you don't want to see players gamble away millions of dollars and then go broke.
But there's also casinos in every single community. There's a casino right down the street from Consol.
This city that everybody gambles. You don't go to Vegas. I don't know anyone that's ever gone to Vegas that's been like, yeah, they did some nice restaurants. That's it. That's all I went to.
It's all a magic show.
Yes, it was cool.
David Blaine.
But there's that in every community. If a gambler's a gambler, like, you know what I mean?
It's the environment is to gamble there. That's the thing.
Yeah, you see shows and you.
I feel like that or Seattle is a good aspect for a new NHL team. I think
Seattle would be. Yeah, it would be a nice place because it's close to Vancouver. You have maybe a little rivalry there.
That could be a rivalry, kind of like the Philly Pittsburgh rivalry.
But can I bring up one thing? Just so you know, Las Vegas isn't in Arizona.
I wasn't talking about
Arizona. Okay, I mean, no. As soon as I said Arizona, you brought up.
I was thinking the same area. They're on the West Coast in the desert.
Same
area.
What state is that in?
Nevada.
Good. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, look at me, geography.
Okay, what's
8th grade?
Look at you. Seattle.
Washington.
There you go.
Look at this.
Geography.
Yeah, doesn't it love DJ righties?
The most useless.
Oh, that is a useless class. But I remember 8th grade. Oh, can I just tell a story?
Sure,
go right ahead.
All right, so we have this big dude. This I don't even know how to describe him. Dustin Bufflin looking dude, teacher. He and this jackass kid, Jack Murray, in our class.
You should stop saying everybody's
names. Dropping first and last names.
I don't care.
Just don't do it.
Don't do it. There's no need.
No, okay. But
all these people you don't know.
Anyway, this kid pisses off this teacher so bad. The teacher grabs the desk in front of him, throws it against the wall, and breaks it off the wall. Just needless to say, the kid never said anything again. It was hilarious.
Was this a geography class?
This was in geography class. Wow. He was talking because we were watching CNN News. He was talking shit on CNN News. And then he just picked up the desk and threw it against the wall.
CNN with Carl Azuz? Oh, yeah.
Did you learn about Las Vegas in geography class?
Yeah, I did. I did learn about Las Vegas.
Any magic shows or anything?
No, I don't think there were any magic shows.
Well, that happens a lot in Las Vegas. And did you see, there was this one tweet where they said, I think it might have been Evgeny Malkin Diego again.
Great Twitter account.
Yeah, I retweeted it on our Twitter account, so you can go look.
We have some great retweets.
We're pretty good at this. We tweets.
We tweets.
Wee little tweets.
And it was saying that the NHL is going to film the draft lottery.
Just to make sure they're not rigging it. And then also right after that, it said, "It's official. David Blaine is pulling the ping pong balls." It's a great thing. Do you think that they're gonna rig this draft lottery?
They could. I mean, you got.
I mean, with his biggest player is Connor McDavid.
It's like the Sidney Crosby year. Do you think that the lottery was rigged, and that's how we got Sidney?
They were
kind
of like, "Hey, Penguins, you need a star-studded player. You're a hockey town."
No, it was the team's gonna get sold to a different city. We should probably keep you there.
Does this sound familiar to any of you guys?
A little. I mean,
there was only a few off seasons ago that they were debating whether or not they're going to move Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah. That it was a debate, but they did. They moved out of Phoenix.
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
They didn't. They didn't move the rink at all.
Arizona is in Phoenix.
I know, but they moved the rink.
They didn't move the rink.
They changed the name.
They just changed the name. Okay. I'm wrong, as always.
It's a city they're constantly losing money because just there's not enough of a market there for hockey. Do you think if the lottery gets rigged this year, and you see Connor McDavid going to Phoenix, like that, it was the NHL that did it. That's like Bettman's child right there. He loves the Coyotes for some reason.
Yeah. I mean, it's either the Coyotes or the Hurricanes that would be, in my mind, the most eligible for the NHL wanting them to be rigged.
Why the Hurricanes?
Because it's a very small market, but it could be large. It's a pretty large population.
Yeah,
but not many hockey fans.
And as Mark Madden always says, Panthers. Follow the money. Wherever the money's going to be, it could be where he's going to end up.
But that's why I would think maybe Toronto is a great decision because that's the biggest market in the NHL that has the worst team.
Yeah, and well, what about whenever, bring it back to a long time ago, I'm going to say a long time, maybe like 4 years ago, the Atlanta Thrashers.
Yeah.
If you've been following the NHL long enough, they just died. They got rid of them. They were just
there
gone, and they moved them to Winnipeg because that was a bigger market.
Because Winnipeg wants hockey. I don't see why there aren't more teams in Canada. That's their number one sport. Why is there not more teams there? There's enough of a market there. There's enough of a drive. There's enough people that I think Toronto could have two NHL teams.
Oh, they could have two
for
NHL
sure.
teams.
And they would still be
We
able
have two teams in Pittsburgh, or in Pennsylvania. Yeah. How come we don't have two teams in Toronto?
Why isn't there one in Quebec City?
That would make so much sense.
Quebec City, and maybe another one in Toronto, and
it could work.
Well, who is I don't even know who's the commissioner of the NHL. Is he American?
Let's look that up.
No idea
because it could be the aspect that he wants to keep hockey in America and keep that revenue through America.
But it's been grown so much in the past. He's from New York City.
So he's American.
He's a good old American boy. But I don't see why, if you want the money, if the NHL wants to make more revenue, then why not actually be smart about it and stop losing money on teams like Florida, like Arizona.
Well, I can see Florida turning into a money-making team in the next 3 years.
No offense to the older listeners that could be listening to this, but it just doesn't seem like if you're already like 60 years old and you have your sport picked out, why would you want to change? If you like sitting back watching 182 baseball games a year, or I think it's how many games they play, 162.
Well, that's why they have the
it's
preseason always in there.
Yeah, because I just don't see the drive for old people to want to watch that. Especially, I know my mom, who's not too old. She has an issue following the puck on the TV. You got to think, for older people that can't see that well, that's not a sport you want to get into because it's going to be so hard to see.
What was it in the 90s they used to have a tracer on the puck?
Yeah, actually, I have a good story about that. I was at a family reunion, and I don't know, he's related to me somehow. I see him once a year
Everyone knows that guy.
Yep. I see him once a year at the family reunion, and he actually brought up, we were watching Penn's playoff game, and he brings up the fact that, oh yeah, I used to love hockey better when they had the nice tracer. I could follow it better.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's much like the sport that I play, water polo. You don't watch you don't watch the ball. You watch the play otherwise because it's just not interesting. I mean, you can watch the stick handling and he's so pretty, but there's other plays going around that the play without the puck is more important than the play with the puck.
Yep, that's what coaches always tell you. Best players are smart. They do the right things when they don't have the puck.
Much like Kasperi
Kapanen, who has just came to the AHL.
But I was under the understanding that Kasperi Kapanen couldn't play in the NHL.
He can't. I believe he can't play in the. He can play in the
NHL. Play in the playoffs.
He can play in the NHL, but he can't play in the NHL playoffs.
But he
can play in the. I don't know.
People don't get that.
People keep saying he's going to play in the playoffs, and it's like, dude, there was a cutoff date for all European players coming over. They couldn't do that, but everybody keeps saying it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
It's just a rumor that I think people are uneducated.
Maybe they don't understand.
Yeah, they're uneducated.
But then that means almost every single sports writer in Pittsburgh is.
That's what's making me feel that I'm sorry that we're wrong.
We're uneducated.
But I saw the cutoff date. That I read an art. I mean,
unless there's some special exception for Kasperi Kapanen.
I don't see why there would be.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Maybe it's because he already played in a men's league this season.
He's playing in a professional league. He's not playing in any junior league. That might have been it.
That might be it. I'm not 100% sure what the role is there. But do you see him making an impact if he plays this season at all?
A small one, if that.
I could see it
too much. I mean, I heard he had. I looked at his numbers were okay for the Swedish league.
If you bring him in, you can move up other players to fit into our top six.
But he is a top 6 player.
Yeah, and he did go through a pretty large scoring slump in the latter half of his Swedish league.
Yeah, which is kind of concerning because we don't need another slumping player to come over and play in Pittsburgh. We already have enough of those as is. But how far away do you think Kasperi Kapanen is from playing in the NHL?
I could see him next year, honestly.
Possibly.
A year or two.
But his frame's just not.
If he starts hitting the gym, more protein shakes.
Who is it who couldn't do a pull-up last draft?
Was Sam Bennett.
Sam Bennett, and I actually haven't followed up on him.
He just got recalled to the Flames. I think he's going to play in the final few games.
Yep.
Because you don't have to have a big frame when you first start out.
But he can't do a pull-up now.
How we play in it as the Penguin system right now has a lot of puck play around the wall, and that's an area where you have to be physically fit and you have to be able to shoulder people off you.
puck protection.
I don't see him.
He's more of a flair type, like flashy kind of skill player.
And that's hard to be in the NHL with these amazing defensemen.
Plus, he has to get used to the smaller rinks.
I mean, that's why I think he should take the rest of the season in the AHL, get used to the size of the rink, get used to almost the speed. Which, do you think the AHL is faster than the Swedish League?
I think so. I think it's also you see better players there.
I don't think it's faster than the Swedish League, but it's in a smaller space. There's a lot. You get hit harder. I think there's not as much stuff you can do.
There's definitely more grinding.
Yeah. I was gonna say I think that there's more men in the AHL.
Plus, I think some of Kasperi Kapanen's best perks comes to he uses it on the big ice. So once he figures out this game in the AHL, I think quite possibly we see him in a year or two. I don't think next season you try and rush him because there's no reason to rush Kasperi Kapanen.
Then this season, who's the first call-up from the AHL?
Forward or defense-wise?
Around Dumoulin and Harrington. Who do you think?
Well, they already called up Cherney, so apparently they don't feel like calling up
either of them. Okay.
I don't know if they're trying to protect them or they don't think they're ready or what, but
I feel like Dumoulin could really play in the NHL if he had to, though.
I feel like they're better than Cherney, though.
Yeah, either of them could, but Cherney's also more NHL experienced.
That's true. He has played at least.
But
he's played a few seasons in Edmonton. He was a constant call-up, sent back down.
Is it a cap situation between those two? Because
I
know we're right up against the cap.
They both. I think Cherney makes just about as much as Dumoulin and Harrington. I think he's around $600,000. I think they signed to a league minimal contract.
Yeah, there's nothing contract about that. I think
it's just who they think is better.
But if you saw early in the season, Harrington is a solid defensive player, but his puck decisions it's not there for this system right now. And Dumoulin, I think, would probably be the better call-up just due to if this is a player that you want in the playoffs, you want Dumoulin for sure. He has a bigger frame. And when it comes to experience with playing the game, I think Dumoulin would probably be our best bet, even though his cap hit will be a little bit more. It's just, do you see Harrington as a player that can step in and make an impact in the playoffs?
I don't really see Cherney as one either, but he has a bigger chance.
With some development time that can really make an impact.
But there's not too much time to develop.
But what do you think about if we, after this season, if we don't win? What happens? Do we blow up this team? Do we keep the same core? What goes on?
I think you give this team a solid 3-4 more years before you start trading like key pieces of this team because we do have players that can come in defensively that we can always trade to get those forwards that we need.
For 3-4 years, Crosby and Malkin maybe won't be as well as they are.
I think Crosby
and Malkin... Do you think you can trade them for something as good?
No, because I don't see why you're not going to get a Sidney Crosby if you trade Sidney Crosby. No matter what, you're not going to get Sidney Crosby out of that trade. If you trade Evgeny Malkin, you're not going to get a player of Evgeny Malkin's caliber. You're going to get pieces that will maybe make up to Evgeny Malkin's caliber, but you're not going to get that one player, that game changer that Evgeny Malkin and Sidney Crosby both are.
What do you think about we trade Evgeny Malkin and then we get two players, each half of Evgeny Malkin?
So it's like the James Neal trade again.
Then it makes you get. If you add them together, you get a full Evgeny Malkin.
And you get a fuller team.
Well, I'm thinking if Malkin gets injured now, then you lose complete Malkin. If you get two people, then you only lose half of Malkin. Then you still have half of Malkin left.
But I think it's difficult to get two pieces that add up to Evgeny Malkin in a trade.
Which isn't going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
All right, so let's say we just trade with Toronto. We get JVR and Kadri. You're not going to get that. They're not going to give it. They're going to look at your face and laugh. In a draft pick.
They're going to laugh at you if you try and get Kadri and JVR.
Because what if that changes the last pick? What if they get Nathan McKinnon and they want to get rid of these two?
That's true. I mean,
that could be a very good trade for us.
Why would they get Nathan McKinnon?
Oh,
I think you mean Connor McDavid.
Yeah, I meant Connor McDavid.
Nobody's going to trade. Even then, I don't think you see a team willing to trade Connor McDavid for Evgeny Malkin because...
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying Toronto gets Connor McDavid, and then they trade away JVR and Kadri to us for Malkin. So now they have Malkin, we have JVR and Kadri.
Greg, I see your point, but the thing you have to think about right now, about every single team in the NHL, is the cap is too tight. Evgeny Malkin has 9.5 in the cap. JVR and Kadri together combined right now have about close to $6 million.
All right, but the cap's opening up due to the last lockout.
But not too much. It's not going to open up too much because it's going to go up due to like what revenue is, and revenue hasn't really increased this year. Not as much as they thought it was going to.
Well, what do you think that has caused there to not be an increase in revenue?
Because the teams that where the sport just isn't growing, like Arizona.
Well, we've talked about it.
We have beaten the crap out of that topic. But the thing is just the game's not growing as fast as they thought it would. They're losing money on TV deals.
That's what I mean. NBC is really losing money on the NHL, and no one's making money. But we're just going to switch it over to our questions that we have from our Twitter followers, which you guys can always submit, and you'll hear it on our podcast.
For sure.
No matter what.
We have 2 of them, which is amazing for us. We were not expecting to get any at all, honestly.
And we're very happy for it.
Thanks to you two.
Yeah.
And our first one is from the Hockey Mom. Why do you guys think that teams play worse near the end of the season? Well, some of them.
I think it's just a wear down on the players. Like, a lot of people don't realize these are professional players playing hockey against other professional players. So the game's being played at a much higher rate than anyone that's ever played AAA, AA hockey. The game's moving way faster than that. Whether you want to think about it or not, it's a super fast paced game.
And it's the longest season in hockey. There's no other league in the world that has a longer season than the NHL.
Yes, and then you're going up and you're getting destroyed. You're gonna have
hits are 10.
You're gonna play. Everybody's gonna play a little bit sore. People are gonna have bruises after the game. That's just it's gonna happen. And I think that takes a toll on the players.
And not to mention the way the schedule is rounded. Your travel. If you've ever traveled in your life across the country,
you know it sucks.
It's killer. And whenever you travel to different states, it just takes a wear down on your whole team. Even though the away games are centered, it's just not the same. You know what I mean? It wears down on your players. If you drive to California or fly to California, it's just going to wear down on you.
Plus, you're not sleeping in your own bed.
Exactly.
You're sleeping.
So you're going to be uncomfortable. But another thing I think that a lot of people don't realize is how many back-to-back games they play. Lewis, tell me, how bad does it suck to play back-to-back games?
Awful.
It has to.
Your legs turn to rubber.
Yeah. After you're done with in your last couple shifts of the second game, you're done.
Yeah, you can't do it.
Especially for a team right now, I think the Penguins, we've seen them wear down a lot, especially recently due to the fact that we have 5 defensemen playing 6 defensemen's worth of minutes.
And Malcolm was out that one night, so we were down a winger too.
Yeah, so I think especially for this team, and a lot of teams that have made it far in the past few years, it's a lot of hockey in a short amount of time.
I can agree with that.
What do you guys think? Just a little thing I just thought of. What do you guys think about goalies playing back-to-back games?
It can be hard. Goalies play the hardest out of all the players if it's in your zone for a long period of time.
Because I don't think a lot of people think of how bad it hurts to go up and down so fast with your knees. Like, a lot of goalies, I don't think, have very good knees after they're done playing the game.
An average stat that I've heard of, I've never really actually looked it up, but a rumor is that the goalies burn 3,500 calories a game. And
I'm just saying that I'm agreeing with you guys, but Corey Schneider's been doing it all season. He's playing back-to-back.
Playing way too many games. They're treating him like he's Marty Brodeur.
Devin Dubnyk has been playing back-to-back games. Hammond, I'm pretty sure, has been playing.
He played for 14 straight until they finally let Craig Anderson go back in.
And that's why it's important to have a backup goalie in your team. It's just important because you can't wear out your main goalie that much. It's a hard task.
I think if we can give the credits one thing, it's that they've played Fleury the right amount of games. He's never played over 70. I'm pretty sure, and I don't think you don't see him playing too many back-to-back games. You see. Normally the team that's lower in the standings, Grice will get, and then Fleury will get the harder challenge.
Which is the way it should be.
Or if it's a home and an away, Grice will get the away, Fleury will usually get the home.
Normally, yeah. Which I think is just respectable to your starting goaltender.
Yes.
Okay, well, we're going to bring in with our other user-submitted question from Bronxy.
Our boy.
Our boy, yeah. I
love you, man.
He's a cool dude. So, what about fighting in the NHL? What do you feel about it? Should it be in there? Should it not be in there? What's about it?
Well, I'm going to say probably the least...
Against the grind.
Against the grain.
Yeah.
Not the grind. Fuck fighting.
You don't think it should be there?
Why is it there in the first place?
Because your players have to answer to what they do.
But it's going to be in the game no matter what. Even if you take it out, people are still going to fight, but it's not going to be allowed to fight.
That's actually what I feel. I feel that it should happen soon that fighting should get you kicked out of the game. No suspension, just not a 5-minute penalty. You're going to come back in the game. I want it to hurt you. I want Steve Downey to go fight someone. I want him not to be able to play again. Then we're down to...
So do you think that whenever that happens, you let them actually drop the gloves and fight, but then you're out for the game. You're done.
Yes.
So, but you're still allowed to fight. You're allowing a fight, but it's over after that. You're done for the game.
Yes.
Well,
okay.
An alternative something I don't think you see them doing too often is just call the instigator penalty then. Just why don't you give that to him?
That's not bad.
Because you never see that happen. Like
it rarely happens.
If you see, so say it's a different situation. You see Shane Doan take out Letang. Downey's on the ice. I'm not sure if he was or not. But if Downey's on the ice, he goes up and he goes, okay, we're going now because of that hit. Give him an instigator. We wouldn't like it, but it might stop players from going up and saying, hey, let's fight right now. Yeah. So your team actually gets penalized from it instead of losing them for the whole game, because that's a different situation. That's going to really screw your team, and we might rarely see fighting if that's the case.
And you aren't allowed to fight in minor league hockey, high school hockey, college hockey, but it still happens. There's still people punching each other in the face. I mean, it happens anyway.
Passionate players will always stick up for their teammates.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with punching people in the face, but I don't.
There's a little bit.
There's a little line to be
nothing
crossed.
wrong.
Okay.
Okay, but I don't like dropping the gloves and it being an event.
I don't like stage fights. Stage fights.
I can agree with that.
I don't like that people like. You're not going to be able to grow hockey when people say, "Oh, I'm a fan just for the fights. I go to the games just for the fights."
Well, there was a tweet actually during the Pens and Flyers game that I saw from, I don't know who it was, and I don't want to name who it was, but she said, "Oh, there's no fights in the Penguins Flyers game yet. Why am I even watching it?"
Well,
that's not going to
grow
be
in the sport.
And that's the like, you can't be into the game just for fighting.
It's like, man, there is a separate sport for you, and it's called the UFC. It's actually pretty cool.
Exactly.
Well, okay. What do you want to get in this a little bit? Boxing versus UFC. How long until you think there is almost no boxing at all? Like.
Very soon.
It's very rapidly happening.
That's probably why the Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather fight is happening now. They need
because it's about to end.
They are trying to protect boxing.
Bring it back.
They're trying to bring it back to life with a huge fight, which should have happened 5 years ago when they were both in their prime. Now they're both old.
Yeah, they're both old and they're like, eh.
And,
oh well.
You know.
But
I don't think I could ever see the NHL without fighting. Like, that's something that's always enjoyable to watch. But I think that's going to wrap up our podcast.
You guys can follow us on Twitter at breakout_tweets. You can follow us on iTunes and SoundCloud at The Breakout Podcast, and on YouTube at The Breakout. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week, guys.
Bye.